What's going on out there, YouTube family? This is Sammy Lega here representing Team JVS. I'm back here again for another movie review. The name of this movie is called The Assistant. This is the synopsis. A searingly look at a day in the life of an assistant to a powerful executive. As Jane follows her daily routine, she grows increasingly aware of the insidious abuse that threatens every aspect of her position. Now, this was starring Julia Garner. If you've seen Ozark, that's the most notable role. She's amazing in that. This also has Patrick Wilson. Everybody else is kind of like, there. It's not any really big names in this one. Noah Robbins plays the male assistant 1, and then John Orsini plays the role of the male assistant 2. This was directed by Kitty Green and also written by Kitty Green. The thing about this film is that the first time I watched it, because I've seen it twice now at this point, because I wanted to make sure and clarify my emotions and feelings towards it. The cinematography and the capturing of this specific assistant and the lengths that they go through from a cinematography standpoint are very good, because everything is literally taking place in the office space. But they find ways of messing with your head and the assessment and the anxiety of being in an assistant-based position. The worst come to worst situations, what I mean by that. Because the first time I watched it, I was like, I can't really hear anything. Like, cinematography's good and like the acting is okay, but I was like, I can't even hear when she's having conversations with people. But even the second time I watched it, when I had the volume up, even with subtitles, it didn't matter, because the feeling and the emotion is still the same. This person is being bombarded with all these different filters to make sure this one person is held to a way lower standard than anybody else in the room. Like, she goes through an assistant and another assistant. They bombard her, they hover over her, tell her what she needs to do. Then she has to go and get like the drinks and the ordering for other people. On top of that, she also meets with a program manager, even though she's the assistant to the actual executive. And none of them treat her right. Like, none of them. And for the longest time, I was trying to understand from the story standpoint. I was like, where's she even working? Like, what is this person even doing? Like, what is it that she's trying to be? Why is she still here? Because the nonverbal and the verbal shortcoming abuses that are happening are real. Like, they happen commonly. And this movie identifies it in a way that it feels like a horror movie. That's the best way I can kind of describe this film. Because initially I was watching, I was like, oh man, this is kind of boring. Like, there's nothing really going on. But when you see what the character is really going through, Jane, Julia Garner's character, you realize that this is not healthy. This is not a healthy circumstance to go through, because not only is she doing, she's going in earlier than anybody else, leaving later than anybody else, but she's also cutting corners for other people that are putting her at a very low disadvantage. And I think where things started to get crazy for me is around the second act, when I started to assess, well, is she getting jealous? Or maybe she's like, feeling like threatened. But I was like, wait. When the twist happens and you understand what she's trying to do versus just kind of just sitting around, I was kind of like, wow. And that's where things get very serious and pretty dark when everything climaxes. It's the best way I can kind of put it. Is this a violent film? No. Is there any vulgar language? No. Not really. You can hear it in the undercuts of the dialogue with the phone calls, but it's not coming from her audibly, and most of the time we're interacting with her. I mean, everybody that's like kind of smiling in her face is really a bad person, straight up. Like they're allowing things to happen that just should not be. And not just that, technically we only see the boss once, and if you're not paying attention, you don't even know it, because the whole entire film he's abusing her through a phone. It's not even as though you're seeing them interact or have any kind of conversation. Like, no, she has all these different buffers she has to go through before she even do that. So I think that the execution of the way the cinematography worked and the blending of the character with the scenery is pretty well done. Honestly, it's actually pretty masterful. And the way that they make it so it feels like you're literally just having somebody have a camera and they're just going around watching as this person is this assistant to this bad circumstance, it really does feel really naturally real. It honestly does. And I think that the other thing I have to give credit for is Julia Garner. She's resting this all on her own shoulders. Like, it's not like there are other people that are floating the way in the progression of this character. No, like, this is her. It's all her, for good or for bad. The way, whatever way you feel emotively about the movie going left, right, or up, it's all based on her shoulders. And I have to give her all the credit because she played a very toned down character in comparison to what she's capable of in the Ozark. And it was all for a specific purpose when you get to the punchline of that interaction, that moment in the second act where it's like, wait, and she's having a conversation with somebody right across from a computer. As far as the soundtrack's actually pretty good. But I think that the performance is not anything like eye-catching. I think it's just so believable. Like, and a big part of that is based on Kitty Green's like directing. Like, she really honestly made, like, even if this was a short film, it would feel like a documentary. Like, somebody's like got a hidden camera watching and just kind of seeing how this is really panning out. And I was looking for it to have this, like, you know, really big like revelation or understanding of, you know, right, wrong, good or bad or whatever, but no, it's just the reality of the situation. I think that's where it's gonna be hard for certain people to watch, and it's not a gratifying film, and it doesn't put you in a good place either. It's actually pretty sad and pretty messed up at the end of the day. Like, it really is. I give this an 8 or 8.5 out of 10. I think it was well executed. Yeah, I'll rest it at 8.5 out of 10. I was really surprised. At the same time, I was really not let down, but emotionally I was really let down and kind of just, wow, okay. Yeah, that's how I literally feel after it. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. Make sure you let me know in the comment section below what you felt about the film. If you've seen it, if you haven't seen it yet, let me know. I'll talk to you guys later. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Peace, guys.